Listen up or run for cover. Dropping knowledge from the people who have it to the people who need it. The real Brad Lee is dropping
What it is, Brad Lee back again with another episode of Dropping Bombs. Today in the studio, I've got a guest all the way from Tampa, Florida, out there freaking making people healthy, perhaps contributing to them being more attractive.
Looking better naked.
Looking better naked. Chris Cavallini, folks. Welcome, Chris Cavallini, to the studios of Las Vegas, Nevada's Dropping Bombs episodes.
It's great to be here. Thank you for having me, Brad.
Dude, what'd you come all the way to town for?
To see you, man, and do this.
You didn't come all the way for this, did you?
Of course.
Well, crazy, man. Yeah. Crazy.
And I love the city. I love this place.
You guys hanging out for a minute?
No, not too long. Might get in a little trouble later today.
Yeah, you gamble?
Moderately.
Best way to win, fold it in half, stick it in your pocket. I always tell people that come down here, they're like, man, we're going to go down to the tables. I'm like, yeah, dude, they don't build those places on winners.
They certainly don't, no.
Yeah, they don't build them for the winners.
Nope.
Okay, they build them for the losers. That's how they build them.
Yep.
Do you play blackjack?
Yeah, that's all I play.
Dude, I got a formula for you. Ready?
Yeah.
Write this down.
Okay.
I'm serious.
All right, what is it?
1, 3, 2, 5. Just remember 1, 3, 2, 5.
Mm-hmm.
First bet, 1.
Okay.
Second bet, 3. Third bet, 2. Last bet, 5. No matter what. 1, 3, 2, 5. 1, 3, 2, 5. Now, what's a 1? Well, it's a unit, whatever unit you want to do.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say you want it to be a $100 chip. Okay, well, then that's 100. If it's a $1 chip, then it's $1. If it's a $20 chip, then it's a 20. But it's one of them. Then the next time, how many you do?
3.
That's right.
Yeah.
And then the next one?
2, and then 5.
That's right. Now, you got to play the card, the blackjack card, because everyone says, well, I know how to play blackjack. Yeah, it doesn't matter. Look at the card anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Follow that card 100%. Follow that formula 100%. And I'll bet you anything you walk away a winner.
So I have a little strategy that I attempt to go into the tables with. But once you start drinking, it is so hard to keep up with. And what you're saying right now, I just don't know if after a few drinks, I don't know if I'd be able to.
Sure you would. It's 1, 3, 2, 5.
That's it.
13, 25. Simple. Listen, Dover wants to go gamble right now. But dude, I know a guy that makes millions, and all he does
1, 3, 2, 5
is blackjack.
Mm-hmm.
He does that's what he does.
Yeah.
And that's a formula where you bet 1. If you lose, you bet 1. If you lose, you bet 1. If you lose, you bet 1. Now, if you win, you bet 3.
Mm-hmm.
And then if you lose, you bet 1. If you win, you bet 2. You're like, wait a minute. Why would I bet 2? I just bet 3. Well, because that's the formula.
Mm-hmm.
If you win, you keep going until you get to 5. And you keep betting 5 until you lose. As soon as you lose, you go back to 1. If you win, go to 3. If you win, go to 2. If you win, go to 5, and then go back. You just keep doing it.
You should hit the bomb thing. This is so valuable for your listeners.
Dude, it's more valuable than you think. This guy makes millions. He came in here one day, wanted to do a VT. I said, well, shit, dude. then everyone's going to know, and the casinos will shut it down because it's totally legal, but the casinos will just figure out how to shut it down.
Right.
He said, yeah, maybe you're right. I said, no problem, bro. He's like, damn, dude, I never had anybody want to turn away my money. I'm like, dude, if I can't help you, I'm not interested.
Agreed.
I'm not here to freaking get your money. I'm here to help you. If I can't help you, save your money. And quite frankly, you go give the whole world that formula, that's not helping you.
No.
That's helping the whole world. So there you have it, my friend. It's all yours. Now,
Thank you.
Now you've got a company called
Nutrition Solutions.
Nutrition Solutions, not Next.
No.
Well, I'm thinking next level nutrition.
I
just asked you
know.
2 seconds ago, too.
You did.
So it is a food company.
Yeah, we're a meal prep company. Yes, sir.
And you started that. Now, let's talk a little bit about your past. You were saying in the green room that you freaking were in orphanages and group homes and had a little rough childhood. Was it childhood or just teenage?
It was childhood, and that kind of led to my juvenile delinquency as a teenager, as it were. But I was born in Boston, and my mother had me very young. She was 16, and my dad was also 16. My mother was just super unstable. She a drug addict and just not like, mentally sound, shall we say, to take care of a kid. So my dad actually took off before I was born, and shortly after I was born, I got taken into the care of the state, and just bounced around a little bit, man. Got sent to different foster homes, group homes. Got sent back to her a couple times, which inevitably her decisions led us right back to where I started, and just didn't really have a structure, didn't really have a family support system to kind of instill like discipline and teach me how to act like a responsible, nice young man. So developed some resentment issues, anger issues, and took that with me and just kind of started acting out during my high school years. Started getting arrested, and I was arrested 17 times prior to my 18th birthday.
Wow.
Yeah, just to give you a little context, some of the things I was arrested for: drinking underage, trespassing, fighting, possession of marijuana before they decriminalized it. So ultimately, I got in a situation where the state of Massachusetts, they got sick of seeing me in court so much. I mean, I was a very familiar face, and even though the nature of the things that I was in there for wasn't extremely serious, it was still a problem. And they determined that I wasn't learning from the quote unquote mistakes that I was making, and ultimately they gave me an ultimatum, and it was either go to jail for 7 months or join the military. So I opted with the latter, and that's what got me out of Boston and kind of got me away from that life.
It was a good choice, though.
It was one of the best decisions I've ever made in my life.
Yeah, especially if you're heading down that road. Dude, you'd probably be in prison or dead or freaking
1,000. I had, I think, like 520 people that graduated from my senior class. My class rank I was the seventh from last. So if I had 520, I was like 513 out of 520. Like I didn't have the grades. I didn't have the family support to send me to college. There were no other options for me besides jail or the military. So these people did me a favor by giving me that ultimatum.
Sure they did.
Yeah.
I never went. I mean, I'll tell you in a minute. First thing I want to do is tell the listeners, the Bomb Squad, how to find you. Are you at Chris Cavallini?
I am.
My eyes are bad, so I couldn't see the little thing. So there you be. Folks, if you guys want to follow dude, you go follow him at Chris Cavallini. Just type it in. Sounds like it's spelled, or spells like it sounds. So yeah, as a kid, I got in a little bit of trouble once, and I never got in any more trouble. That doesn't mean that I wasn't doing shit. Mm-hmm. That's why I said 17 times, dude. You weren't very good at it. Like, how'd you keep getting caught, and why'd you keep getting caught?
Yes, that's an interesting story. It didn't really bother me that I was getting caught. At the time,
I think maybe psychologically you wanted to get caught.
I would have to agree with you there.
Unless you were the worst freaking thug in the world.
Yeah,
like,
so
how
that's
the
the
fuck
thing.
do you get caught 17 times?
Yeah, it was, so I developed a reputation, and all the police officers that were in the town that I went to high school with, they knew who I was. And,
right.
After you get arrested a few times, you develop a reputation. There was a time that they came to one of our parties, and one of the cops came in. He was being an asshole. At the time, I perceived him to being an asshole. I mean, the man was doing his job, and probably doing a good job of doing his job, to be completely honest. But he came up, he put his hands on me, and I basically, like hit his hand like away from me.
Were you buff then?
Relative, yeah. I mean, I was always in good shape. That was the one thing that I always had going for me, and the thing that I did to kind of begin to overcompensate for some of the like deep insecurities that I had at the time.
Was it lift?
Yeah, work out, just to do something to make myself feel good and look good and be significant.
Well, you're doing that right. Whatever you're doing now.
Oh, thank you.
If you guys can't see him, he's got the guns. He's buff.
But yeah, so knock this guy's arm.
He's what all the fat dudes go to the gym to look like, but never will.
They can. That's a choice they make.
Unless you get his nutrition plan.
Hey man,
do those come with exercise programs?
So first of all, you don't need our company's services to get in shape. People have been getting in shape for hundreds of years.
Yeah, but it makes it easy when you have a prep meal there.
Agreed.
So I would recommend you get the prep meals, and it's all over the U.S., but do the prep meals come with exercise programs?
Yeah, thank you for asking that. So our company, we're a meal prep company, right? But we're a lifestyle and results-based company. So we're not just in the business of selling food. We're in the business of providing our clients the resources they need to accomplish their goals, and that is all-inclusive. It's the meals they need that are basically customized to their specific goal, whether they're trying to lose weight, build muscle, just be healthier. And yeah, we have all kinds of different training programs and templates, supplement guides, different like mindset articles that we send, because
Do you give them a password to any interactive virtual training systems?
No, we do, of course. Yeah, we have a members exclusive membership only area that has access to all these resources.
That's beautiful shit. I'm going to order some food and see how it tastes. If it tastes good, I'll order from you, because my other source is unreliable.
Yeah.
They fucking, half the time, they'll show up and half the time they won't.
When
it comes to food, you got to be reliable.
Well, I mean, when it comes to one's diet, the only way to accomplish, the reason people go on a diet is to, improve the way they look naked, to feel better. The only way to do that is to be consistent. So if, to your point, you have to be reliable, but also to your point, just a few years ago, I'm sure there was no shortage of people saying the same thing about my company, and we were in a different place. And, hopefully whoever you're using intermittently will take the feedback they're getting and learn and get better. That's what it's all about.
Yeah. So your company's doing big time dollars. How you didn't start big time?
No, does anybody?
Let's go over a few of the stories. Like, you started out what? Throwing Salisbury steak into a plastic container and running it over to a buddy's house.
So I was fortunate when I started the business. It's hard to even call it that. But when I decided that this was something that I was going to do, there was no business plan. I never wrote a business plan in my entire life. There was no plan to do anything other than, as I said before we came in here, I was a drug dealer for a lot of years. I used to live my life.
What kind of drugs?
Steroids. Yeah. And when I got in trouble in 2015.
That doesn't make you a drug dealer. That makes you a doctor.
Well, if you're not a licensed physician, evidently it's frowned upon in the state of Florida.
Yeah, well, that's just red tape. So you were a doctor before you started this company?
Yeah, self-proclaimed doctor.
Drugs are like freaking coke and pot and speed. And,
not to minimize what I did.
Steroids is medicine. You were helping people get buff.
So not to be all over the place, man, but when I got arrested in 2015 for crimes that were actually committed in 2012, so let that sink in for a moment. 2012, I was set up. They didn't come and arrest me till 3 years after the fact. And that 3 years is a big 3 years. That's when I walked away from that life, started my business, started doing.
All right. You don't want that shit, bro.
Fuck no. And I had it. It was karma.
I know, but that's always how it happens. It's like, when I was younger, I might, pick up a girl or two. And sometimes you'd, not have the one you're with when you met another one. Mm-hmm. So you're like, fuck it, we're breaking up anyway. So you take advantage. And then you get back with your girl and everything's going good. And right when everything's going perfect and you're all lover, that old girl fucking pops up with a text or some bullshit.
To ruin your life.
It's the same thing, except no one's going to jail. You had to go to jail.
So, and to your point, steroids aren't a big deal, whatever. I don't disagree with that. When I got arrested, and again, this was 3 years after the fact, and it was known that my life was in a different place. The primary way that I began to change my life is to start getting involved in the community and start doing things to give back. And when I first started, what that looked like was a lot different than what it looks like now. But I did develop a positive reputation in the community. When I got arrested, my bail, Brad, was $500,000 for steroids.
So let's just say you stayed there a little bit. Or were you a big steroid dealer?
No, so I was never a big steroid dealer. I was probably like a lower to middle class steroid dealer, because one thing I never did is I never made it myself. I'd never get the raw materials and make it myself, because
Make it yourself.
Well,
God damn, that's
what
called a chemist, bro.
Well,
That
that's
ain't
the
a
one-
dealer. Now you're on a whole nother level.
Well, I wasn't on that
Fucking
level.
make it yourself.
The
Holy
one-
shit, that's why they make it against the law. They
That's
don't want
how-
motherfuckers out there making
That's
it
how you make
themselves.
I mean, not to give anybody any ideas here, but that's how the big time steroid dealers would do it, is they'd get the raw materials. But that also was a huge vulnerability, because those materials had to come from overseas, and if customs comes across that's pretty much like guaranteed that person's a steroid dealer. So I never made it. So that kind of mitigated some of the risk, allowed me to do probably extended the shelf life.
Dude, I'm not admitting anything, but when I was a kid, I may have dealt some steroids here and there, but fucking making it,
Yeah.
bro, like, you kidding me? Like, that's heavy duty shit right
Yeah,
there.
yeah. So because I didn't do that, I mean, at my pinnacle of my steroid career, I was probably, making on average $7,500, $8,000 a month, which at the time was like, like $100,000 a month.
Yeah, it's a ton of money.
It was all relative. My bills were nothing at the time, and it was all cash, and I was just young, and of course I didn't save a dime of it. I was blowing it in the club, going out 5 nights a week, bottle service, just living the fast, coming out
Trying
here,
to look rich instead
trying
of
to
be rich.
100%, buying shit I couldn't afford to.
I'm still doing that.
Yeah, well, because there's value to that. That's a whole other thing. But I mean, I literally was like spending all the money that I had, because I was trying to present myself as being something legitimate when I just wasn't. And eventually, after a lot of years, it got to a point where I just felt so sick and disgusted, and just developed like just near paralyzing anxiety about what I was doing. The fact that at any given time I could get in trouble, the person I was getting it from to sell, he could get in trouble, and just that fear of what would happen if I didn't start making some changes really was what the driving force was for me to create a different life and start traveling a different path. And I haven't looked back since.
Well, good thing you did.
Yeah.
You'd probably be in prison right now.
I mean, I narrowly escaped prison 3 years ago when they came.
Even 3 years ago?
So it was 2015. The middle of 2015 is when I was arrested. Okay. And that was when they came for the crimes that were committed 3 years prior. Not the alleged crimes, the actual crimes. I 100% did it, right? That's not a thing of discussion. They came, my bail was $500,000. I mean, so you need 50 grand to bail out at that point. I mean, that was everything. That was more than everything, actually, at the time that I had. So that put me in a very tough position, because that just got me out of jail. I still had to go to court and, deal with
Defend.
Yeah.
And you can't get a defender because you had 50 dimes.
Oh, no, I got a good attorney. I got the best attorney. I spent out 25, 30 grand on credit cards, because I wanted the best, so I could get the best possible outcome. And from start to finish, the prosecution, the state, they gave me a firm offer of 24 months in prison. And again, like that, to me, I'm just like the trying to comprehend like where I was at the time and where I perceived myself to be going. Then all of a sudden this dropped in out of nowhere. It was a lot, man. I mean, it was about a 3.5, 4 month process of uncertainty, fear.
24 months ends up being like 12. Shit, well, I've been drunk longer than that.
Yeah, so it'd be 80%, and to be completely honest, the fear wasn't to go to prison. I knew I would be just fine there, and I actually had gotten myself mentally like excited about, okay, if I go, then I'll come out, and this just adds to my story, and it'll be like the elements for the most epic comeback ever. So I was good with that part, but the thing that really started to keep me up at night was the fact, I did just start entering a place where I started doing some good things with my company.
Yep.
And I had employees that relied on me. And at the time, it was a much smaller group than it is now. And it was a lot more intimate. I knew a lot about everybody, and I knew their situations. I knew the fact that they, relied on the company. They relied on me essentially to generate income, to take care of the people that they love and the people they care about, take care of themselves. And that is what really, fucked me up, made me realize that I can't just lay down, that I have to fight, because I very easily could have took that plea deal, took the 2 years, and then went away. I mean, I rolled the dice, decided to go all in, and by doing that, I mean, I faced 4 to 5 times longer in prison if the judge found me guilty and decided to sentence me. And in a shocking turn of events, man, I walked in a courtroom one day to be sentenced, had prepared my life as best I could. The 2 weeks leading up, 2 weeks, I got the call saying, hey, the sentencing will be on this date. And they pushed it back and delayed it, postponed it as much as they could. So I got the date, did everything I could to prepare my life for the very real, very strong possibility that I'd be going to prison. Walked in the courtroom that day, and just in a shocking turn of events, the universe had my back, and I was given a second chance. The judge had familiarized herself with, my mitigation packet, which is basically all the character statements and such. There was about 100 people that showed up outside the courtroom that day to be there to support me, to speak on my behalf. And she took all that into consideration, and she had addressed me in open court and said that, the purpose of prison is rehabilitation. She said that she's spoken to several people. She's read all the different character statements. She's very familiar with the things that I've done over the last few years. And she told me something that, to this day, still gives me goosebumps, make me a little emotional thinking about it. But she said that I should be very proud of myself for what I've been able to do, and that she believed that I actually had completed the rehabilitation process on my own, and it was for that reason she was not going to send me to prison.
You're lucky it wasn't frickin' federal.
July 24th, 2015. That was my real birthday. That was the day that I was sentenced. That was the day that I was given a second chance. And that was the day that I changed my mindset and realized that I was essentially now on gifted time, and I had a responsibility to make the very most out of every single second of every single day and do what I had to do to pay it forward to the universe. And that's when things really, the last 3 years, things have started to evolve for me, and things are going good, man. I'm very, very fortunate to be in the position, man. I'm very grateful. But again, it's all a direct consequence of very deliberate, specific actions, tailored towards the sought after result.
Yeah. Well, when I was a youngin', I always wanted to just help myself. And as soon as I started trying to help other people, that's when fucking success started flying.
Yep.
And it sounds like it happened, same thing for you.
So the way that happened, when I started to just think about creating change, right? Everybody wants to change, but nobody knows how to do it. So I started, I'm 36 now. This one I was about 27. Somebody put me on to Tony Robbins. Okay?
Sure.
And at the time, there weren't as many resources. Audiobooks really weren't a thing. The Instagram wasn't what it is now. There weren't podcasts like this. But there was YouTube. And, Tony, OG's been doing whatever he's been doing a long time. I started watching Tony Robbins videos. And one of the things that part of his message is to, if you want to experience fulfillment, you want to live a, strong life, I'm paraphrasing here, you have to find ways to serve other people. And another thing he always says is model people. You want to be successful, model people who are successful. So this guy, has shared numerous stories about things that he's done to give back and just how it just opened up new doors and pathways and so on and so forth. So yep. That's something I decided to do. I decided to go to a homeless shelter and basically serve the homeless some food, just to be part of the little line and they're going through, and I'm serving them food. Now I went there not because I really cared about helping the homeless, not because I was just, looking for an opportunity to give back and da-da-da. I went there because Tony Robbins said it was a thing that he did. And he also says that, model people are successful. But within, 10 minutes of that experience, I felt something that I'd never felt before. And that I felt fulfillment. I felt just deep feelings of gratitude. And I realized that this is what life is supposed to be like. Giving back, serving other people, helping other people. And that's when I decided that I needed to figure out an outlet that I could dedicate my life to whereas I would have the opportunity to help people in a much larger capacity. And ultimately that's, how I started Nutrition Solutions.
So when you first started though, you were making chump change.
Nothing. I was pumped up for I think after 7-8 months, I was able to pay myself $500 a week. And I was really pumped up about that, Brad, because that was legitimately the most money that I'd ever made in a legitimate capacity.
Yeah. So to start a company like that, what do you do?
Well, what should you do the right way, or what did I do?
Yeah, but I mean, like, I'm thinking, man, if I started a meal prep company, first of all, I have to be able to make some food, buy the containers, right? Afford the shipping. So and then number one thing, find the customers. Who was finding the customers?
So because it was me. I was a team of one, an army of one, and a company of one for about a year. And you might have said, oh, how would you do that? The food and all that. So you asked, how does one do that? Well, I'm going to tell you what I did. And this is probably the opposite of what somebody who might be entertaining the idea of starting a meal prep company should do. I basically went to a catering company who was already in business, already operational, had the team, had the overhead, had the equipment, the facility and such. And I said, I need X amount of meals fitting these specs, right? The nutritionals and what have you. I was like, I can pay you this because this is what I'm getting paid for this. And basically, I would buy the meals from them, and then I would just flip them to customers that the first probably 30 customers that I had, which shit probably took me 5 months to get that many. I think I had
How are you
8 to
getting
10.
them?
They were friends of mine.
Just talking to people?
Well, when I was a drug dealer and the man about town, going out 5 nights a week. I mean, I knew a lot of people. I had a lot of like quote unquote friends, like just acquaintances, people that, I mean, some of these were former customers that I sold steroids to, if I'm being completely honest.
What was the monthly cost?
Of what?
Like the food?
Oh, shit. I have no idea.
Because if you're going to meal prep, you might as well do 3 a day.
Agreed. Yeah. So actually the cost of in the beginning, for 20 meals, it was $85.
That's it?
Brother, I don't even know, like, I can't fathom now how that even was a thing that I did. But then looking back on it, the quality of that food that I was selling, I would not feed it to my dog at this point.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now it's all scientifically balanced, I'm sure.
Yeah. I mean, I have a team, of.
Do you eat it? Is your fridge filled with it?
Always. My hotel room fridge currently is full of it right now. I had the team overnight me some meals so I could stay on track out here.
Yeah, like meal prep's the best way to stay buff.
Yeah. So, I mean, look,
if you're a little pudgy or, you got a little fat roll, meal prep might be a little overkill. Just grab yourself a burger. But if you're actually giving a rat's ass about what you look like, meal prep's the only way to go.
Yeah, I mean, I think there are a lot of people who might be, pudgy and out of shape that actually
because they're not meal prepping.
Well, they do have aspirations to, get in shape and get fit. And it's just so hard, man. Like if you're trying to like cook and then you got to know what to cook and then just the time, it's just a lot of energy, man. It's just like anything. Like you got to delegate what you can to optimize performance.
Yeah, but all that shit's useless now. You can do it.
Yeah.
That's the thing. People don't understand. Like everybody wants to come up with excuses. There's meal prep companies out there, folks. Mm-hmm. Here's one that's good, doing freaking millions of dollars a year. Obviously, he's doing something right. So just reach out, let him do it. Guess what? You could do it cheaper, but no, you can't.
Well, because you
don't know. Well, even you can't. I mean, some people can, but most people, they're like, well, that's expensive. Well, quite frankly, if you break it down, it's like washing a car, dude. I'll have my car washed every Monday out here. I think he charges, I don't know, $25, $35, something like that. Someone said, dude, you can't wash your car yourself? I'm like, well, fuck
no,
yeah.
I fucking can't.
Well, no, I can wash my car myself. Why the fuck would I wash the car myself?
You wouldn't. But that's
one day I did it. I said, you know what? I want to make my car look sweet. I'm talking about like ultra detailed. So I go out there and it was like 2.5 hours and it was the car wash down the road did a better job for $40. And I was out there like, son of a bitch, they'll do this for $40? Like that's a deal.
Yeah. So the one thing that I don't know that you can kind of compare the meal prep to the car wash expense. The way I look at it is this, like eating healthy is like your responsibility. I mean, if you don't eat good, you're not going to feel good. So I try to just put it in perspective for people. Like you are spending money on food. It's not a expense. It's an investment. It's an investment in your quality of life. It's an investment and the way
There's
you
another
look.
bomb right there,
Yeah,
kids.
it's an
Because guess what? All the money in the world, if you're unhealthy, is worthless.
And I'll make the argument that the more healthy you are, the better your ability to make more money will be. That's just a fact. I mean, you can't perform your best if you're not eating good and exercising. It's not about necessarily looking amazing naked, which is super important. It's about optimizing the way that you fucking feel so you can go out and just get yourself going and just feel good and execute at a higher level because of the way you feel. If you're, eating shit all the time and feeling like shit all the time, there's just no way possible that you're going to be able to do things that are going to move your life forward. It's not possible.
It's true. I'll get on a keto program, think, 6, 7, 8 days later, hey, man, I'm going to splurge. Mm-hmm. I eat like shit because everything like shit sounds good. Mm-hmm. And then I started realizing, man, I eat like shit and I feel like shit.
Yeah.
I eat good and I feel good.
What a concept.
Yeah. So now, buddy, I'm pretty much, I got a gift to where I can eat clean like you wouldn't believe.
Good.
But I don't meal prep.
Yeah.
Because I don't have time. I don't want to weigh. I don't want to freaking, all my shit tastes bland. Mm-hmm. Like I want a good tasting, healthy
That's
meal.
the only way you'll stay consistent with it.
Yeah.
If it's bland, if it's boring, if it's the same things over and over again, guess what? 2 or 3 days in, man, you're going to deviate back to the drive-through or the fucking takeout or whatever, and now you're back to square one.
Yeah, like I'll make hamburger, love fucking hamburger. Mm-hmm. And I'll eat it, but I need a little ketchup. Ketchup's filled with sugar. I'll need a little ketchup because, it tastes like shit.
Which is fine,
then
moderation.
Yeah, but my wife grills up some hamburger. She like minces up onions and puts some shit in there.
Don't need any ketchup?
Yeah, don't need any ketchup. It's like, this is good.
Yeah.
But she doesn't do it enough. So like, I'm like, dude, I'll just start doing meal preps.
Yeah.
But,
unreliable
source.
We'll send you some stuff.
I need to find a new source.
No, we'd love to send you some stuff.
As long as it's good.
Hey, I would love your feedback and for you to make that final call. I could sit here and say whatever I say. It's my company, of course. I think we're doing pretty good. There's a lot of things we need to do better, but I'd love to send you some stuff and you can give me your honest feedback. I appreciate that.
Well, I'll do it. Cool. So tell me, where are you going to scale? Like, where are you at now and where do you want to go and how are you going to get there?
Yeah, we're an 8-figure company, and honestly, the unique part about our company is, not just the fact that we legitimately care about getting our clients results, right? Like everybody comes into work every day. One of the things that, we do as a team is we recite the company's mission statement together. So everybody understands why they're there, doing what they're doing, and how important their role is in, helping our clients accomplish success and reach their goals.
Yeah.
We employ a lot of convicted felons.
Good for you.
Yeah, a lot of convicted felons, a lot of former drug addicts, a lot of people that have been homeless, a lot of people that have struggled, man. I can relate to that. I can relate to that on a very deep level, and just because of what I've been through.
How do you know that they are?
Well, because we screen them coming in.
Oh,
yeah.
See, like here, we don't screen anybody.
So
we just talk to you. If you seem like you're good and intelligent and you got a little background, we'll give you a shot.
Yeah.
To me, felons are the most ripped off people on the planet. Obviously, I was about to say, obviously, some are what they should be,
yep.
but
most are what they should be. And that's coming from a guy with multiple felonies on his record. I know the game, and I've dealt with this.
I know, but there's people out there, dude. They got a felony, and it's a white collar bullshit crime or something. Like there's people right now sitting in the jail, prison for weed, but yet.
It's decriminalized, yeah.
Yeah, go in there and get yourself all the weed you want. Yeah. Like those people should be let go.
Agreed.
And if they're a felon, get rid of the felon.
Yeah.
Because I think the government likes to put felons on people so they can control your gun situation.
That's
because once you're a felon, you don't get a gun anymore.
Or the right to vote.
Well, you get the right to vote. Yep, you can vote now.
And I don't know.
Trust me when I tell you.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
But you can't have a gun. And if you get caught with a bullet, your fucking ass is
you're
thrown back in there.
Yeah.
So when you start to think about like, Jesus, how are all these people felons? Because I know a lot of people, and some people say, well, this felon, fuck you, bro. You're a felon. You just didn't get caught. Mm-hmm. There's felons. I know everybody I fucking know is a goddamn felon. They just didn't get caught. We've been out there fucking doing all kinds of shit, and then they're fucking talking shit about a felon. You mean the dude that got caught? Because your fucking ass is a felon.
Yeah. So some of the people that
Dover's probably a felon, aren't you?
he looks like a felon.
He looks like a felon. He looks like he wants to join the T-Birds from Greece. Told him roll up the bottom of those jeans, cut the sleeves off, and he'll be fucking Danny Zuko.
So some of the people that I have that work with me that are convicted felons, they're not white collar criminals. They are drug dealers. Just
What kind of drugs?
Cocaine,
Real ones.
Cocaine, ecstasy, things like that. But basically, like what I've found is with the right systems and the right training, and the first thing that if we bring someone in and as part of the interview process, and they do in fact have a criminal history, the only thing we really look for at that point is, have they taken responsibility for it? Or were they a victim of circumstance? It was this person's fault, but they were in the car. Like, we don't want to hear that bullshit. That right there is indicative of the fact that they're not accepting responsibility, which they're of no value to us.
Yeah.
But if they're willing to take responsibility, they have a good attitude and are willing to work hard, we have systems and training in place that virtually guarantees them reaching the next level and just creating a situation where they're able to develop a different life for themselves. And that's really what I think kind of separates us from anybody else in this space. Is there's a lot of people here that come from situations that most can't relate to, and what I've discovered is with the proper support, the right training, the right accountability and solid leadership. I mean, some of these convicted felons and people who've had a very, checkered history, shall we call it. I mean, they have the potential to be some of your best, highest performing assets. They know what it's like to be at rock bottom. They know what it's like to have nothing and to feel like, everything's coming crashing down on them. So they take advantage of every opportunity and they're grateful.
Yeah.
Which that's just massive. So the way reeling it back in, your question was, how do I plan on scaling the company? Well, the way that we started to scale the company and the way that we will continue to scale the company is by investing in the personal and professional development of our team, by focusing on that, by focusing on developing our team and the people within. Everything else takes care of itself. The customers get taken care of, the organization, everything, the dollars, will roll in abundance, but it starts with that. And most people, put their customers first. I mean, at Nutrition Solutions, we don't. We put our team first. And by doing that, our customers receive world-class service and, a phenomenal customer experience.
And everybody's out of Tampa.
Yeah, that's where we're based out of.
Why Tampa?
So we started the company in Jacksonville, which is about 3.5 hours from Tampa. The reason I moved to Tampa was because, again, my drug dealer days were in Jacksonville. I had heard through the grapevine, through some of law enforcement individuals that I was actually selling steroids to, that they had me on a charge, that they had me on something. The guy who told me didn't know what, but he's like, hey, look out for yourself. So I was like, holy shit. All right. So in my mind, I thought by moving to Tampa and like telling everybody, hey, I'm moving to Tampa, we're going to expand the company, I'm going to move it in this different territory and da-da-da-da. It's like, no, I moved to Tampa because I thought that if I moved away from the city that I had gotten the charge in, that it would never caught up with me. That didn't work out.
Well, of course not.
No. Best thing that's ever happened to me, though.
Yeah, but
No, in my mind, I thought, like, legitimately thought, I'm like, no, this is genius. Like, why would they 3.5 hours? Like, could they even do that? Like, it was just out of sight, out of mind. And it worked for a little bit. Like, it was very stressful being in Jacksonville and knowing that at any given time, like, I could get that knock on my door or just be pulled over. And so I'm like, all right, you know what? I'll move to Tampa. Maybe and then I kind of forgot about it. It was like just every once in a while I'd think about it and it would stress me out a little bit for a day or two. And then I just went on to working hard and just focusing on other shit. And, then, one day I came home from work and I had two detectives standing on my front door.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, if they want you, they'll find you, bro. You could have moved here and they would have came.
Yeah.
Yeah, if they want you, they'll find you.
But that was a good decision for me. Tampa's great. It was definitely a step up in my quality of life from Jacksonville, though Jacksonville's a great city as well. But I like Tampa. It definitely worked out favorably. And, yeah, man, things are going good for us. Like, I can't, it never seems like it'll never be enough. I'm okay with that. But I look at where we were like 3 years ago. I look where we were 2 years, a year, even 6 months ago, and it's like we're making progress. We're growing. We're growing internally. We're growing from a process standpoint. We have better training systems in place. We have overall like higher caliber team. We're making more money. Whatever that's basically a guarantee when you have the other things.
What if you're not there?
I'm not there most days. I probably go into Nutrition Solutions 3 days a week, and I'm not. And maybe one day I'm there all day. Which is really funny because when I actually stopped being there all the time, that's when shit really started to happen.
Well, that's when you have a business.
Yeah. But it's very hard to get to that point, man. And I've heard people like you and I saying these things years back, and I'm like, all right, that will never happen for me. It's not possible with it. But you got to learn to think differently. You do what you can to not only learn to think differently yourself, but teach and train and educate the people within your team to do the same. And then there has to be a little bit of faith and just stepping away and just giving up a little bit of control and just expecting for somebody to let you down and not do what they're supposed to do, and understand that's fucking normal. That doesn't mean you dive right back in and do things. Because it was to a point, man, where like I literally, like, every time I drove to my company, it's like I was just so overwhelmed, like walking through there. Like 1 second I'm talking to a dishwasher, telling them to like keep the top of the dishwasher clean. The other minute I'm like having a conversation with our CFO. The next, it was just like all over the place, and it literally is. It will suck the energy right out of you. You have to have a good team, and the way that you do that is by getting people who are, good people, and then you teach them how to be better. Yeah. You can't tell them one time and expect them to do things, or show them one time or expect them to know what to do because they've seen you do it. It doesn't work like that. You got to teach, you got to educate, you have to training. This is your thing, but it's what it is, man. Training is what.
That's why I always open this up with what it is.
That's what it is. Literally, training is what allowed me to change my life and go from being a drug dealer to, a 5-time Forbes featured entrepreneur, training my mind, training my body. And, at our company, we basically have training every single day in some capacity. Sometimes there's 2 different trainings a day, and we literally cover everything from mindset to mental toughness to leadership, or just the practical, nature training in the actual department of what they're doing every day. And, when you do that, like, people always complain, oh, it's so hard to find good people. And it's just so irritating when I hear that. It's like, no, it's actually not. It's just very easy to find shitty people.
Well, you don't find good people, you make them.
Correct. But it's work. It's a lot of it. And how convenient would it be to just like have somebody come in and care about our company as much as we do and be able to do it as well as we do? It's not realistic. It's like you or I have never cared as much about someone else's company. How could we responsibly expect somebody, regardless how good of a person they are, to care as much as we do? It's not realistic.
It's not realistic. But more importantly, if you don't have a company you can leave, then you don't have a company. You have a job.
Yep.
There's too many CEOs, founders, entrepreneurs out there working, growing their company, and thinking they have a company, mm-hmm. when in reality they have a job. Because if you cannot leave your company and have it continue or to increase, then you have a job.
Yeah, it took
disguised as a company. And that's what I've had for a long time. And now, even right now, I'm about to go reorganize, retool this whole place, mm-hmm. because it's still the same way. Like, if I leave, this place is not going to grow as fast or go as well. And that's not good. I want to make it to where I could be gone for 3 months and they do better, in fact, because I'm gone. Like get the F out of here and let us do this. That's when you've built a real company. When you can be gone for 30 days, come back, and shit's been improved.
Yeah.
People are doing things a little bit freaking more, not like enthusiastically, but like, in other words, like
independently.
They're all freaking pumped, mm-hmm. and they're feeling good, and you walk in and you've done better than you've ever have.
Yeah.
Man, that's when you freaking turn around, walk back out, throw out some bonuses.
Sure.
Give a little leadership speech.
Get it.
Come back in 30 days later, and now you've got yourself something worth having.
That sounds great, and that's a good goal to have. unfortunately, I just don't know that it's super realistic. I definitely think that there are improvements that can be made and things that, your team would step up and improve on a little bit in your absence. But you're the visionary, man. Like you're the captain, and no matter how good your team is, no matter how much you've trained them, the fact is, like, we're the only ones who are going to be able to make things happen as fast as we want them to. And I think the other part about being a business owner is not just the ability to walk away from the business and have it still function, is the fact that you have to be willing to step away from the business and be okay with the fact that it won't go as fast as if you were there every day driving the ship. But if it will go 70%, as if it hits 70% of what you would do it,
yep,
you're winning, because at that point you have the ability to focus on other things, to put your time and energy in other things, and grow other things. So it more than overcompensate. And that's a hard thing to do, man. It's a hard thing to see any sort of regression, or to know things could be happening a little faster if you were present. But if you were present, what other things would you not have the opportunity or ability to do? And that's just kind of a dichotomy there.
So if you could go back, what would you change? What would you say, hey, I should have done that different?
Honestly, the only thing that I would change is beginning to train my mind and invest in my self-education a lot earlier. I think a lot of people will say, oh, I wish I could go back knowing what I know now and whatever. It's like, that's not really, it's not possible. And it's what I think is more like practical. And for anybody hearing this who's, young, not so young, wherever you're at, like, understand, like, the key to the life that you want, whether you're just starting out, whether you're in a rut, whether you're at rock bottom, or whether you're fucking crushing it and just want to get better, you have to train your mind. You have to spend time on your self-education. You have to invest in personal development, because to get to the next level, you have to learn to think differently.
Yeah,
that's all it is.
Another way you get to the next level is to maximize the level you're on, and most people won't do that.
Yeah, you got to do the best job possible with everything in your world now, and like literally, and that starts with like your home, like keeping your house clean, keeping your car like organized and not like a trash bin, right? Do the best job with everything you have now, personally and professionally. That is the only way to create and attract better, higher, more valuable opportunities. But if you're not doing the best job with what you got now, taking pride in like all of your work, whether it's something small, something big, you can't responsibly expect to get to this next level and do these big things. I mean, if you can't first become a master at the little things.
Yeah, you said you saw me at the 10X Growth Con 1.
So, man, I was trying to figure out a way to work this in without it, sounding like we talked about this before, to be like a fucking sales pitch to
like a
promote.
plug.
Yeah, but the first 10X conference, I was there with some people from my company, and we went, and was it a 2-day event then?
Yeah.
It was a 2-day event. There were maybe like 15, 16 speakers. I honestly probably was in the crowd for about 70%. I saw about 70% of the entire thing. I cannot remember anything anybody said except what I walked away with from your talk, Brad, and that was how important training is. And it's like, if people listen to your podcast, people familiar with your brand, they know that this is your thing. But I don't know that they really comprehend what that is and how important it is. You had cited some statistic about 90-something% of companies, the only training they offer is when an individual first start with the company, right?
Yeah.
It just made me think, it's like, look, if I want to grow my company, if I want to get better, if I want to be the one on the fucking 10X stage doing the talking, right? Giving the information to the people in attendance. Like, I need to not just, keep working on myself. I need to do a much, much better job of bringing up my team. And training is the answer. And I was in the military. I mean, the military, that's basically all you do is train. I mean, there's a lot of real time, things you'll do, but the majority of
but that's training. Military trains people.
Right.
See, a company doesn't really necessarily train people. A lot of them.
They don't. They think they do, though.
Yeah, they think they do,
Yeah.
and they say they have a training budget, and they say, "Oh yeah, we train our people," but you don't really train your.
It doesn't
people.
cost
You
anything.
Expose your people.
Yeah, it doesn't cost anything to train. I mean, there are certain training exercises, and like I send my team to conferences, leadership seminars. So yeah, there's that, and not everybody has the money or the probably more accurately the mindset to do that, because that's. If you're like limiting yourself to a budget to invest any money that you invest into your team for their personal development, professional development, that's fail safe. Like, just understand that money is coming back like 15, 20, 30 times over, like pretty soon.
Believe it or not, the ROI they've done studies on is 300%.
I do believe
it's one of the single highest ROI a company can have is on its training investment.
Yeah. So
have you ever read the book 4 Agreements?
Yes.
That's a good.
It's a great book. Yeah.
Like if everyone just read the 4 agreements and actually accomplished what it says. There's only 4 agreements. But if you can make those agreements with yourself and actually do them,
you win. Man,
you're going to win like a big shot.
Yeah.
So for sure.
After hearing you talk, man, the 10, I mean, literally, like I left right after your talk, for a few hours. I went back to my hotel room and I just had my notebooks and I just started writing down, okay, what could we train in? What Tuesdays we'll do this, Wednesdays do that. And like literally, I mean, I fucking got obsessed. I mean, we went from like minimal training to like I had some fucking sort of training going on every single day.
How did it work?
Amazingly, in the next 12 months, we scaled our company 200%. Imagine that. It's a guarantee. It's not like, oh, if I do this, it takes time. And
what happens if people are like, I don't want to train?
You got to explain to them why it's important, man. You have to,
or blow them out.
1,000%.
See, like people don't understand. I've got a lot of customers with a training system of ours, and they will call sometimes and say, "Oh, we're going to cancel," and I go, "Cancel?" Because that's like saying, hey, I'm going to kill myself. Like, what are you talking about? Like that, something's wrong if somebody wants to cancel their training program. I'm like, well, did you find a better one? No, we just can't get our people to do it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what?
So
you can't get your people to do it.
Weak leadership.
Yeah. Like, dude, that's not a training problem. That's a management problem. I said, what if they don't show up in the morning? He goes, oh, we'll fire them. I'm like, well, try that. Like, if you have an employee that refuses to train, like they are negative, they're cancerous about it, they're not doing it, they're ruining other people's mindset on it, just get rid of the employee. Like, if that's like me interviewing with you to get a job, and you say, so, what do you think? And I say, it doesn't matter what I think. Do I get the job or not?
Yeah.
Like, I don't give a fuck about your employees.
Yeah.
I don't give a fuck about your customers. I don't give a fuck about your mission statement. I want my fucking check. Now, would you hire that guy?
Absolutely not.
Right, but that's what some people's employees do when they sit there and refuse and whine about training. And what they're really telling you is, I refuse to develop myself and be a better asset for you. So if someone would just come out and say that, you would instantly just get rid of them.
The narrative changes,
but because they say, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't know, or I forgot, damn it.
Yeah.
So when you find an employee, folks, if you're driving around in your car right now going, dude, that's so-and-so, and yeah, that sounds like so-and-so, or if it sounds like you, dude, quit the fucking company or blow the person out, because it's not a good match. It's like someone that won't stop cheating, either have an open relationship and move on happy, or blow them out, because at the end of the day, they're not good for you.
Agreed. I think the thing also to keep in mind is, from a leadership spectrum, if you're in a position of leadership, you have a responsibility to, if you're changing something and incorporating these different training models, you have to understand people are going to be naturally resistant to any sort of change, not just the training. They don't see what you see, which is why they're not where you are. So you also have to understand the investment that you have to put in as far as communicating to them why it's important. Okay, here's what we're doing, here's why we're doing it, and if executed properly, this is the impact it could have. So I have found, by doing things both ways, by just kind of coming in and saying, all right, this is what we're going to do, and just because I'm the boss, this is it, da-da-da-da, and then doing it the right way, which is saying, guys, like, listen, I want to make this investment in you, in our company, because I feel that it could help us improve with this, this, and this. It'll make you more efficient. It'll make you, it'll improve your skill set, help you develop new skills, it'll make you more valuable. Then they kind of understand like what's in it for them,
Yep.
so to speak. And the resistance level goes down immensely. So,
Well, there's a tip. There's a tip,
Yeah.
Bomb Squad. Listen up.
but to what you just said, so are you familiar with the book Extreme Ownership?
Yeah.
So
Jocko Willing.
Jocko and
sat.
Ruth Babin.
Well, no, he didn't sit there. I was going to say he sat right there, but fucker ain't done my podcast.
Yeah, well,
yet.
we need to get him on here.
Please.
Yeah. Well, so that book is that extreme ownership is now a core value of our company. We implemented that in December of 2016. Okay, that was around the time we started doing all the training and such. Every manager or leader that comes into our company, right? They have mandatory homework they have to do within their first 14 days. They have to do the audiobook of Extreme Ownership, and basically they'll listen to a chapter, and then they'll do basically a chapter report on it, and it is due like 10 p.m. the night before the shift, whatever. And literally, if they don't submit that every day when they're supposed to, on time, complete, like they're done. I mean, we're very, very serious about this. Basically, they fill out the chapter report. It says, what was the leadership principle learned out of this chapter, and how can you apply this to Nutrition Solutions? How can you apply this in your daily life? So when we this is when I started to do this, right? I had to, round up the troops, get them all in there, explain to them, all right, guys, here's what we're going to do. Here's why we're doing it. This book has changed my life. It's I believe it's changed the trajectory of this company. And, we're going to start implementing this as part of our culture. We're going to have a culture of everybody from the top to the bottom accepts responsibility over the company's problems. So we're able to come up with solutions and move forward. And I will never forget. I basically at the end of the little talk, I felt really good. I felt like my delivery was strong, and I actually got these people pumped up about essentially doing a book report right at their job. And this was now when they come in, they have to do it. This was basically like they've been there a while. Now I'm changing it, which is a whole different thing. At the end, I was like, all right, does anybody have any questions, concerns, or feedback for me? And I'll never forget this one kid. He did something in tech with us, little 20-year-old nerdy kid, skinny guys, kind of slowly, like sheepishly, like started raising his hand. And I said, yes. He's like, well, I have enough homework with my school as it is. So, and I was just like, get out. And he got out, and that was his last day. So to your point, yeah, like not everybody's going to want to do it, but that's an opportunity for you to weed out the weak ones. And that's what you want.
Definitely want it. If you're going to build a world-class company, you need a world-class team.
Agreed.
And in order to get a world-class team, you need a world-class training system, period. And whether you do it manually or leverage technology to do it, as long as you're doing it, because you can do it manually.
You got to do a little of both.
It's a lot of work.
Agreed. Yeah, you got to do a little of both depending on what we're talking about here. I mean, there are some things that, like, with if we're talking about training like culinary, right? There are some things as far as like standards and food safety things that without question you can do in an online curriculum, but some things like how to properly slice chicken and little things like that actually, I mean, if you're not slicing chicken efficiently, I mean, you're spending hundreds of extra hours a year doing it. It's costing the company thousands and there's like 100 different little things like that. So things like that, obviously, you have to train, manually. But yeah, I would say the overwhelming majority of things can be set up and should be set up in a virtual platform.
Yeah. Well, it just enhances shit. It's like steroids, dude. You can go work out, or you can work out with steroids.
Speed it up.
What's going to happen with steroids?
You speed up the results.
Yeah, you're just getting, and that's another thing people talk about steroids.
But you got to eat good too. Please don't think you can just eat like shit and take steroids and get big. It doesn't work.
No, it's all in the diet. It's all in the diet. But
steroids do work.
But people talk shit about steroids, and I always defend them. And I can defend them because I'm not a big old buff meathead. So like, if I was like Jay Cutler, then people just think I'm defending what I did. No, I say steroids because people always say you're cheating. Oh, he took steroids. Look, take steroids, don't do shit, and see what happens. Yeah. Nothing's going to happen. Take steroids, eat like shit, and don't do shit, see what's going to happen. You're going to be a fat steroid taker. Steroids simply, correct me if I'm wrong because you probably know more than I do, but steroids simply speed up the repair of the muscle.
Yeah, I mean, and they're also used to treat certain medical conditions, with guys who have low testosterone. It's now being prescribed, testosterone, which is categorized as steroid. It's being prescribed widely as an aging, essentially supplement.
Sure.
But the difference is like that's through the government, through big pharma, it's costing whatever, but it's demonized on the on the black market.
Could also be killing us though. You never know. Maybe they just want us. We're like cattle to them. They're like, hey, give them some test.
Right.
They'll get freaking morning wood again, and we'll make another trillion.
There's actually not one documented case of somebody dying due to steroid use. Not in the history of time.
Lyle Alzado.
No, that guy with something with his brain.
I don't know.
Yeah. So
that steroids his whole life,
so
and then he died. So we're going to blame
right,
it on steroids.
Right. So there's been cases where people were like drug addicts and drank a lot and had head injuries from playing ball, and they happen to be taking steroids, and then the steroids get the
but you look at like fucking what's the boner pill?
Viagra, Cialis.
Is Viagra cheating?
I'm not disagreeing with you as far as
testosterone isn't cheating. Viagra isn't cheating.
Yeah.
Like it just allows you to do things quicker.
Allows you to get there quicker.
Yeah. So like fucking
and when used responsibly.
But that's what virtual training or online systems should be used for, is like to help you build a world-class training team, not be your world-class training system. If somebody trains 100% online, it's better than no training at all or shitty manual training. But the best training, the best, most world-class training on earth is a blend of live and virtual.
Yeah.
Like when you even go to the military, like you're going to go through SEAL training, they're watching videos. You're going to sports camps, they're watching, game footage. They're learning online some things, and then they're going out and practicing and inspecting in person.
Yeah.
So that's to me, if someone were to say, Brad, help me build a world-class team, yours sounds like it's close as it gets. You create the virtual online in case, by the way, you can't do it, because a lot of times you cannot train without being online. So you don't.
Right.
So it's better than that no matter what.
Yeah.
But ideal is train a little bit online and then train in person. So if you were going to have a whole group come in on a Friday through Sunday and train them all, have them spend Wednesday through Friday learning what they're going to be learning. So when they show up, they're already up to speed.
Yeah.
And now you don't even have to be there Friday through Sunday training. You can be there Friday training, half a Saturday, and then the rest of the time, because they're already better trained than if not, the rest of the time, man, have them build relationships and start fueling the culture of the company.
Agreed. And what you just said, not only is that done in world-class organizations, you mentioned they do it in Navy SEAL training. They actually do that. I was a Navy diver, and that's 6 months of very intense training. It's a 70% attrition rate. Not everybody that starts will finish. They did the same things, man. We would sit in a classroom setting, and they would they go over these little pictures and ask you questions academically, and then you go and then you apply it like underwater. And the military. There's a reason the military, we have the strongest military out of any nation on this planet. It's because their training is spot freaking on. I mean, they can turn people who are just, shitbags with no purpose, no hope, no skills. I mean, they can turn them into machines that are able to do some good in the world and be positive, productive assets. And it all comes down to the training.
Yeah. Well, let me close with this. Here's what I think about prisoners too. I say, let's say there's a war. How about you go to the prisons and you offer all the prisoners a ticket to the war. And if you make it back, you're free.
I'm for that.
Me fucking too. And if I was in prison, I'd be for that. You know what I'm saying? Imagine be sitting in prison. They're like, hey, go fight for our country.
What an opportunity.
And you will have another chance. Dude, I would jump at the chance. And a lot of times what these people don't understand is they're trying to rehabilitate these prisoners, when I don't believe that shit. I think they're trying to punish it, and they're trying to make money because they're worth money in prison. But if you really want to rehabilitate somebody, give them a second chance. Now, not all of them will appreciate that. Depends on where they're at in life. Like when you got busted 17 times, you were just a piece of shit. When I used to get busted, I got busted once, but when I used to get busted by my dad and shit, it was because I was doing shit wrong.
Yep.
Right?
Of course.
But once you reach a certain mindset and somebody gives you a second chance, right? Like you said, that day is when you hit yours.
Yep.
That's what I'm talking about. That fucking clicking moment where, God damn it, I got to freaking start doing shit.
And it's whatever it takes at that point.
Yeah. Well, I think that's when you're sitting in prison, especially for like, a long ass time. And the government came in and said, look, we got a little problem over there in Iran. Mm-hmm. We're going to freaking train you guys for 2 weeks, and you're going to go over there, and you're going to do our shit.
And get some.
And when you're done, you come back as fucking paid your dues. Now, guess what? Nobody, I guarantee you nobody would be sitting in these prisons.
That'd be interesting to see.
Dude, I think it'd be, I'm going to run for president 2028. You know why?
Enlighten me.
Just to fucking say I did.
Oh, well, there you go.
Yeah. So I think 2028. 2028, I'm running for president. You know why? Just to say I did.
Well, Brad, you have my vote. I give you my word.
Well, wait till 2028. Maybe I'll be some freaking, nut job by then. But I can tell you this. If I run for president and win, I'll probably be killed because I'm not going to play the game.
Yeah.
Because it's a machine, man. Mm-hmm. And I'll probably be killed by the Illuminatis or whoever the fuck's really running this show.
Right.
But I'll be killed because I'm not playing stupid games. Like, I'm going to fix the shit. It's so easy to fix.
They won't allow you to.
They won't allow me to, and I'll probably be dead. But I'm going to try. And I know and I'm more, what is that?
It's an all-seeing eye.
Yeah. That's from Horace.
Yep.
But I can tell you this, they don't really want it fixed. They being the people. But, man, imagine how easy it would be to fix if you really could fix it.
It would be very easy, but then...
Like, how about taxes? How about we all pay 20% flat, fuck off? Well, I've had 19 kids. So what? Like, well, we have 19 children. Quit fucking.
Yeah.
Like, dude, everybody pays 20%. How much did you make? Give me 20%. That's it. And then not only that, how about some transparency? Out of all the money we got last year in taxes, $31 trillion. Good. Where the fuck did it go? Okay. I want to see, any citizen should be able to log into an accounting record and see where every fucking penny went. And then if I don't like where it went, I have a little spot where I can say, I don't like it. Well, guess what? If the majority says they don't like it, it's our money, right? Mm-hmm. So it's like freaking impossible to fix, but it would just be fun trying. I just want to go down in history as a presidential candidate.
As the guy who got killed trying to change the game?
Just a candidate.
Either way.
You heard of Ross Perot?
Of course.
How come?
He ran for president. Okay. Yeah.
He
ran for president.
That's all he had to do. Yeah. I never heard of Ross Perot.
No, I don't know what, outside of that, I don't know what he's done with his life. Yeah. He had big ears. I do know that.
I don't know Ross Perot, dude. And I wouldn't have known Barack Obama.
Oh, jeez.
But fucking, I'm running for president full on.
You should.
What if I fuck around and win?
Hey, dude, I'm for it.
You know what I'd also do? I'd fucking address the United States every Friday.
If you're going in, you should be going in to win.
Dude, every Friday I'd fucking get my own TV channel. Fuck the media. I don't trust them.
Let's change the game.
I'd just have my own TV channel. I would. I'd say, all right, so here's what's going on, folks.
Depending what network you turn on, like, one is saying one thing and the other is saying another. It's like, one of you motherfuckers is lying.
Period.
So, like, and I just think people need to be more aware of that. And I think the solution is just don't watch the fucking news. I mean, I don't watch the news. I think it's poison. I think, like, literally, if you're somebody who watches the news, like, next time take inventory. If you're watching your local news, each story they cover, take like a little inventory of how many stories that they cover are like negative in nature and how many are positive. And
99%.
Dude, it's disgusting. Like, this person's dead and this and this and that. And dude, that will fuck up your entire day. It'll influence the way you think. It'll influence the way you act. And a lot of people put that in their mind first fucking thing in the morning. And, they live in this state of just fear and anxiety and uncertainty. And if you want to learn to think differently, it's not just about like doing new things to train your mind and read and listen to these podcasts. It's about stopping some of the shit that you are currently doing that's fucking up the way you think and your ability to operate at the level that you're actually supposed to.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, if anybody listening to this podcast wants to know the bottom line secret, here it is. Ready? Get ready. Pull your car over. Pay attention. This is it. Make better choices. That's it. Make better choices. You know what you started doing? You started making better choices. And again, I've been in some shit my damn self. Mm-hmm. I just started making better choices. And if you can just fucking make better choices, your whole life will get better. You can see how good someone is making choices by just look at their life.
Yeah.
Are they fucking got problems? Well, then they're not very good choice makers.
100%.
Because that's where it boils down to.
It doesn't happen by accident.
Not only that, but success is fucking simple. It really is. Everybody's looking for this big answer. There's nothing. There's no big answer.
No.
Make good choices. And not only that, everybody knows when they're doing wrong. You can tell somebody, hey, you drove drunk, you got in a crash, you killed someone, now you're going to prison for 5 years. Why me? Because you fucking got in a car drunk, you dipshit. You shouldn't have made that choice.
Yeah.
But you did make the choice. Matter of fact, you probably shouldn't have made the choice that you made when you got the third or fourth drink. You probably fucked up the choice when you knew you shouldn't have went there, but you did, and you had to work the next day. If you always look back and trace shit back, everybody's problems began with the fucking choice they made. They just shouldn't have made the choice. Now, there's going to be some haters going, oh, my friend was raped. Was that her choice? I'm not talking about stupid shit like that, people. That's fucking asshole people out in the world. I'm talking about, do you want to succeed? Make some fucking good choices. Use your goddamn brain. Quit acting like shit's fucking a problem and stop making excuses, because the excuses are the fucking biggest thing that have, I've got family members. At one time, I paid certain family members' bills 100% for 3 years. They'd call me for a fucking pizza because they didn't have money for food. And I'm like, first of all, you're a dumb fuck for calling the dude paying all your bills for anything. Secondly, you can't afford a fucking pizza when you have zero bills. Like, you got bigger problems.
Right.
Guess what I did?
Order them a pizza.
Fuck no, I stopped paying their bills.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm done. You know why? Because that wasn't helping those people.
It wasn't.
So I stopped, and guess what? They started learning how to get their own fucking shit.
Yeah.
So anyone listening to the old Bomb Squad, you're like, God damn, he just got passionate about this. Well,
It's a real problem, man.
Well, not only that, it's like, dude, all I want to do is fucking live in a more successful world where everybody's successful. And the way you do that is you fucking educate them. And people think that there's these magical answers. Like, make better choices. Stop being such a dumbass, number one. Number two, when you wake up in the morning, okay, believe in your fucking self. Like, just believe in yourself. It is possible. And when someone says, well, that'll never be me, that's right. Because it'll never be you if you keep saying that. I always say, look, it doesn't matter who says you can't as long as you're not one of them.
Yeah.
I believe in that anything is possible. Do you?
I know it is. I mean, it's not a matter of belief. I know for a fact it is. I mean, it's true, tried and tested. One of the things, that you just mentioned, there are people out there your life is your fault. Period. Good, bad, like whatever might fall in between. Your life is a direct reflection of the decisions that you made or failed to make. So, to the people that you address that might say, "Oh, well, my friend was abused and raped and whatever." It's like, okay, that might be true, and no, it most certainly isn't their fault as far as the certain act. That's a horrible thing. We all can agree on that. But when situations like that happen, and they do happen, I was a victim of abuse across the board growing up. But just like me, everybody has a decision. I mean, they could let their past, something that happened 20 years ago, 25, 30, they could let that destroy their entire fucking life and use that as an excuse to not do anything meaningful or to feel as if they can never accomplish anything because of this thing, this event. Or you could legitimately go the exact other way with it and use that as a catalyst and an intrinsic driving factor as to why you have to be successful.
Which is what? A choice.
It's a choice.
Yeah.
You make a choice.
Boils down to it.
That's
Man,
it.
I'm gonna give you a bomb on that one, folks. If you're not following Chris Cavallini, go check him out at Chris Cavallini, Cavallini, or just one N.
Cavallini.
Is that Italian?
It is.
Chris Cavallini.
It means little horse in Italian.
He's fucking buff, got a fucking 8-figure company. He's learned some lessons. I'll probably fucking give you a follow and see what you got cooking. I know you're probably hanging around, a lot of buff people. You got the bikini models and shit on your post, on your Instagram?
No, I'm not. I don't know what idea you got from that. No, I'm not one of those guys.
Well, you don't.
I keep them off the post.
Usually all the fitness dudes I know got all the best walls because all the fucking fit ladies they hang around.
I don't go that direction with my Instagram page.
What do you do?
I just try to do a little bit of just mindset, throw in the occasional, shirtless photo to just remind people what time it is. Hey, you got to let them know I'm working hard with everything, man. Like I try to just have equally high standards personally, professionally, with my fitness. And, there's not
You got
lot
a six-pack?
of course.
Dude, those are fucking hard, man.
Yeah. I mean,
That's diet though, right?
you make it a priority, and that's my standard. I mean, I will never not have a six-pack unless I decided to completely just reconfigure my frameworks and lower my standards. I mean, that's a standard that I've chosen, and it's not hard once you make it the bare minimum. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. Again, you're right. It's not hard. It's a mindset. If it's hard, it's because you made it hard.
Yeah.
I always said someone the other day, I heard two people arguing over whether you need money to be happy, and I'm a firm, proponent of money. But think about, let's say like a little kid thinks his brother's died. Maybe let's say, you're out in fucking, Tanzania or some shit, and you think your your brother or your mother got eaten by a fucking lion. And you ain't got no money. You're in a fucking hut. And then you walk out and there's your mom. She's not eaten by a lion. Are you fucking happy? Are you?
I don't speak to my mother, but for the sake of this story,
yeah, but
I'm pretty pumped up, man.
Yeah, this ain't about you. This is about the kid in the fucking hut in Tanzania.
Your stories, they're just amazing. Very good perspective.
Well, the thing is like you can be happy without money, period. And it's all a perspective. Like if I said to you, dude, you're going to die tomorrow morning. Whenever you go to sleep, you're going to stay dead.
Yep.
And you believe me, you would fight going to sleep until you physically couldn't anymore, and you would be sad as fuck going to sleep because you think you're done. You'd be telling everybody goodbye, you'd probably be crying, and then all of a sudden you'd fade off to sleep. Now, when you woke up in the morning and you realized, I am still here, are you grateful?
Without question.
Okay, so if you can do that every single morning, if you can wake up with the feeling of that every single morning, dude, I'm telling you, there is no such thing as a bad day when you open your fucking eyeballs.
Agreed.
As soon as you're awake, dude, what a day. Now let's see how much better it can get. Right? Know what I'm saying?
I do.
Now, when you say you don't talk to your mom, why don't you talk to your mom?
She's an energy vampire, I don't have a problem saying this. Like, there have been multiple times throughout my adult life that I cut her off as far as just blocking her in all contact. She never really got it together, man. She's 16 years older than me, and she just has her mentality and her perspective of the world is just very, very negative, very bitter. And I just can't fucking have it around me, man. I try to optimize my life to feel good.
Yeah.
I try to do everything in my power, whether it's having like essential oils in a diffuser, having certain colors in certain rooms that I'm in, or just, going in the gym early first thing, get some sort of workout going so I feel good. That's super important to me. And there's nothing more important as it pertains to the way you feel than the people that you have around you. And, the people you surround yourself with, without question, dictate your mindset. So if you're someone who's out there trying to make changes and trying to do some of these things that, Brad talks about and, learn this, learn that, like, just understand that none of that will be received the way it needs to be if you're still surrounding yourself with losers, lowlifes, shitbags, and energy vampires.
Yeah.
So I'd make the argument before you even get started, like, doing the books and the training and learning, start by doing an inventory of the people that are around you and just get rid of as much low-hanging fruit as possible.
Weed your garden, son. I always say that.
Yeah.
Weed your garden. Listen, I mean, it's not that I don't talk to my mom. I don't necessarily say I won't talk to her, but I don't talk to her very much. Same reason.
Yeah.
It's just like, well, it's not really, I don't know, because I don't talk to her very much. So I don't allow that to suck anything. But at the end of the day, I don't talk to my mom very much, and people always go, "Dude, that's your mom."
Dude, well, they can't relate because they had the traditional.
Yeah, but not only that, who gives a fuck?
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't
Mom,
matter.
Your best friend that you've known for fucking 40 years, none of that shit matters. It just doesn't.
Not only that, you can fucking love them from afar.
Agreed.
Like, listen, if my mom called me and said, "I'm dying tomorrow, can you come say goodbye?" Sure, I will.
Yeah.
But if my mom said, "Well, can I come stay with you guys?" Because I'd say, "Fuck no."
No.
I'll loan you some money.
Yeah.
But I'm not doing it. So it's crazy that we got very similar. Now, again, I got stories I don't tell everybody in the world. Big stories. I'm saving them for my book that's coming out.
Right on.
But I got some freaking stories that sound similar to yours. I just didn't get caught so many fucking times.
I never said I was good.
Yeah, I think, and you don't seem stupid. I was thinking, fuck, is this guy stupid? But it must be deep down you wanted to get caught. I mean, not in all cases, but like 17 fucking times, dude. Like every time you pulled,
without question,
unless you were just nonstop breaking laws.
No. I when I was growing up as a teenager, like I thought it was cool to get arrested because it was minor in nature, and I'd spend a night in jail, maybe 2. Then like in school, like people were like, "Hey,
was that in Boston?"
Yeah.
I'm surprised you went to Tampa, dude. Usually Boston people, they want to be in Boston. Well, Boston's a cool town.
Not
it's
really
a rough town though.
Yeah. So that's the thing. I joined the military. That's what ultimately brought me to Jacksonville, Florida, where I started the company. The best decision that I ever made was not leaving where I grew up. It was never going back once I got out of the military and had the opportunity to, because I know a lot of guys that I came up with that did the same route that I did. They, were heading down a certain path, ended up joining the military, served their country, honorably, did well in that capacity, went back to, our hometown and just fucking deteriorated and went just complete, like the opposite direction they were heading in. And
same environment.
It's the same fucking environment, the same people, and it influences the way you think, which influences the way you act, which influences the way your life looks like.
Folks, that's a good time this might be the longest dropping bomb episode in the history of the world, by the way. But listen, if you come back to Vegas, if you're ever back in town, make sure you swing back by.
Of course.
Folks, if you guys want some freaking good grub, you want to get in shape, follow this guy at Chris Cavallini. Order some of his food. I've talked to him offline about it. It's freaking high quality meal prep, never frozen, all that good shit. And make sure that you guys share this out. Tag somebody you love and stay tuned till the next episode drops.
Thank you, brothers.
See ya.
That was fun. Sorry if it went a little longer than...
No, that's all right. Shit, dude, I control that.